In all my time of coaching athletes over the years, this is one of the biggest things that we dealt with as coaches. And I know also for me personally is how to set clear and realistic expectations. And more importantly, when those expectations break down, how do you fix it? Do you realize that your past experiences shapes your future expectations? A lot of times things happen in our life, whether they're good or bad. And from that experience that we have, it will often determine what that future looks like, or at least what your brain tells you what that future will look like. But you know what? I want to get in today on how and why some of us feel that life keeps disappointing us. And you know how you plan for that perfect day and then everything goes wrong? And that's basically from your past experiences. They are tricking your brain into this false fairy tale of that everything else will go wrong. But here's the good news. When you learn how to manage your expectations, you're going to begin to stop feeling frustrated, and you're now going to be in a better position to manage your successes rather than to deal with those failures. And by the end of this episode, I think you're really going to learn how to turn those letdowns into major breakthroughs. And I'm going to give you all the tools to do that so that you can unlock that potential, solve more problems, and more importantly, so that you can live better. So, with that being said, I want to get right into it. And this is the thing where I want to paint the picture for you. I want you to imagine your brain is like a GPS. We all know that when we put address in or coordinate in, the GPS is going to tell us where to go. Your brain is the same way. Your brain is going to use those past expectations, whether good or bad, to determine what that future is going to be. And what happens when we have an outdated GPS? It'll either take us the long way, the wrong way, or nowhere where we need to go. You got to do an update. Without the update, you may be still going down the old road, not knowing there's a new road to go down. So what we want to do is we want to reset that GPS because we want to make sure that the roads that we take now are the roads to success. Your brain could be like a time traveler. It's always going to predict the future based on the past. If your last job was stressful, then you're going to assume the next one's going to be too. A lot of times it can be something with social media. You can be looking at everyone else's vacation photos, and now you're comparing your reality to someone else's highlight reel. Or it can be the should virus. Things should be easier. Things should be more perfect. But reality doesn't care about the should. Reality cares about what is the now, not the shoulda, coulda, woulda. I want you to think about this. You're at your grandmother's house and she's cooking your favorite peach cobbler. Yes, I'm talking about myself. Oh, I can love that peach cobbler. You can smell the peaches, you can smell the cinnamon, the nutmeg as soon as you walk through that door, and you can literally in your brain taste that buttery crust, that perfect perfection. And then one day someone says to you, you know what? I'm going to make you this peach cobbler, but I'm going to make you a healthy version of that peach cobbler. Now, in your brain, you don't know what that's going to taste like. All you know is going to be different. But your brain is already telling you what it should smell, what it should taste like. So that expectation is now based upon the past joy that you have of having that great peach cobbler. But now when you go to taste it, it probably tastes like cardboard because there's no such thing as a healthy peach cobbler, in my opinion. But what I'm getting at is that expectation that you had of the smell, the taste that brought joy, and now you have something else that comes along that changes it all up. That's what breaks down and gives you that broken expectation. And now that expectation is different from what you expected. And that's where the breakdown happens because now that expectation has basically shifted your brain. And now your brain has a different expectation of what a peach cobbler should smell and taste. But the good thing about it is your brain doesn't have to sit there. You can always reset that GPS. And how to reset that GPS or how do we fix broken expectations? The first step is understanding, am I dealing with facts or am I dealing with fiction? You may be expected to get a promotion, but you got passed over. You dreamed of a perfect relationship, but it's exhausting. You planned a stress-free vacation, but chaos came. When you planned all of that, was your brain lying to you because you were dealing with feelings rather than facts? Or is it something that you had pre-perceived of how things would go, but you didn't have a system in place to battle when those broken expectations? I got a system for you that's going to help you manage those expectations to bring it back to reality so you can stop feeling disappointed and you're going to start feeling more power in living that life that you really want to live. Now, here are 3 hidden culprits on why things keep breaking. You can have that frozen brain effect. That's what happens when your brain freezes expectations based on the past or just stuck on bad expectations. That toxic boss that can be very so awful. Your brain won't let you update to a new one. You think everyone's going to be the same way. It can be that fact versus reality, what really happens in life compared to what doesn't happen. A lot of times people get this from social media or movie scripts. Every time in a movie, they always have the perfect birthday cake for the party. But in real life, we know that the sun is going to melt the icing. The candles may not light. You know how it goes. The baby goes and grabs the cake. So things don't always match up to the way what reality is. And the other part is that emotional trap. Your emotions are determining what your expectation is going to be. And a lot of times that's through protection of your feelings of failure. You don't want to fail. You want things to be perfect. Or it can happen after a breakup. You may feel lonely, so you expect that you're always going to feel lonely. But there's a fix. These 5 things are going to help you manage through all of that. The first one, I want you to start auditing your expectations. I did this a lot with coaching. I would write things down that I would want to happen for the week. And then I'll go back and see that these things really happen. And what that did is it helped me prepare for a future week. So for you, you can write down 3 things that you believe that certainly will happen. And then you go back and read what you wrote. And then you're going to find out, was this really true? You're going to see how your brain reveals its bias. Does your brain base a lot of your information off of facts or fear? Example can be, I have an interview this week. Oh, I'm going to fail my interview. Is that based off of fact or is that based off of fear? Is that expectation based off some evidence or is it based off the emotion? So the first thing I want you to do is write down your expectations. The next thing is we want to learn to rewrite the script. I call it the what if game. For every negative expectation, I want you to write down, what if the opposite happens? What if this happened instead of the bad thing that you're thinking about? A lot of times we expect things to go bad based off those past expectations, but there's always an opposite side to that. What if that doesn't happen? And that's what I want you to put in the forefront of your brain. An example that can be as simply as this. You get invited to a party, you don't know what to wear, you don't know how it's going to be because of the past experience you went to a party wasn't great. Now you go to this party. Oh, I'm going to go to the party. I know I'm going to wear this. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to meet great people and it's going to be a great time. I want you to change your what ifs into what is and what is going to happen. Number 3, we got to get out of the worst case scenario situation. You might be rehearsing what is the worst case scenario, and then you're planning your comeback. This is something big for me. I like to plan things out because that's who I am, but I find myself planning things out because I'm trying to prevent the worst case scenario. A lot of times it's because I'm trying to prevent the worst case scenario. It's a form of protection of failure and not being afraid to fail. The worst case is usually not the case at all. It's something that we just put in our head as a protector to protect our emotions, to that fear of flight, because we're always worried about the worst case scenario. And I know for me, what helped me over time was I started looking at this may be the worst that can happen, but this is the best that can happen. And I started putting that into my brain and that into my thoughts, which helped me understand that It's not always the worst case. Some things are just not for me. Some things may not be for you. But at the end of the day, you got to let that one no turn to 100 yeses. So now you need to apply for 10 more jobs. The fourth one is we want to set flexible expectations. And what I mean by that is this. There's a 50% chance it can be a realistic outcome. I'll do my best in a meeting. Or it can be a 30% chance, a pleasant surprise. They may love my idea. Or it can be a 20% chance. If it flops, I'll learn something. You don't want to change your expectations all around, but you want to give it a range. So even on the lowest end of the percentage, if something doesn't go right, you're still going to learn something and put a positive light and spin on it. Because we all know that we have to learn from our failures. So that's what I call the flex expectations. And number 5, I want you to celebrate the gap. And what I mean by that is this. You got to find that hidden gift or that silver lining in the sky. Always look for the good out of something rather than the bad. And it could be, what's the one good thing hiding here? So if you're going to go to that party like we talked about before, what is the best thing about going to that party? Meet new people, probably have some great food, listen to some good music. Find a good thing rather than the negative thing as you move through your thought process and your expectations with that. So those are the 5 steps that I think that can help you manage through having more positive expectations and living in that fact rather than the emotion. And to do all this, the book that I created, The Unstoppable Mindset, can help you with that, because we talk about a lot of those things in more detail on how you can have better expectations, how you have more success, and more importantly, how your mental can be so strong that you can overcome anything. And I encourage you to get that, because that's something that can help you become automatic in your thought process. It can help you be inspired to do a whole lot more. So you could click the link in the bio, and I encourage you to get that ebook. It's a short read that's really going to help you unlock that potential, solve problems, and help you live better. And just click the link in the bio, and I guarantee you'll be on your way to unlocking your potential, solving problems, and living better. So let's get back into it. So what is the payoff from all of this? From understanding your expectations and where they come from, and understanding how to navigate through them and fixing them. Well, what is the payoff? Here it is. Once you really know how your expectations really work, you can use them to your advantage. And an example I'm going to give you is a client that I work with, and she was trying to decide to go in a different direction within her business. And her fear was coming from her brain telling her she was not successful in other areas. But once she understood that was just her brain telling her that she wasn't going to be successful and it wasn't based on fact, she decided to go down that new road. And because she went down that new road, her business actually jumped 15% in sales in 2 months. And if she would allow that expectation, that negative thought to rest in her, she would have never known the benefit of where she was going. I say that for you to understand, a lot of times our expectations that are negative are really just our brain just telling us out of fear. And once we get over that and move from that, you're going to experience more success. And here's a trick that I think you can use that can help you with that. At bedtime, I want you to name one thing that went better than expected for the day. I want you to do that for a week. And it's like training your brain to start thinking about the things that do happen that are well. Your brain will start to spot the wins more than focusing on the losses. I think that would be something that would be really important that can help you navigate through life's challenges of ups and downs, because we all go through them. You go through them, I go through them, and all the information I'm giving you, it's not something that I studied on or read about. These are things that I know that are based on fact, from working with my team, working with my players over the year, working with clients over the years. I really feel that these things that I'm telling you will help you become better at everything that you want to do. So to wrap this up, this is what I want you to do. I want you to get a notebook. I want you to write this thing down. I want you to answer this. What is the one thing that you keep expecting to go wrong? And how could you prepare instead for it to be successful? And once you come up with that answer, I want you to send it in the comments, because this is a community where I believe we can share and grow together, because all of us can learn from each other's expectations. And more importantly, all of us can grow together based on good expectations. And once again, if you really want to go deeper into it, grab that Unstoppable Mindset ebook. And remember, your past doesn't control your future. Your mindset does. And until next time, I want to thank you for listening to the Results Led podcast. Until we meet again, I want you to unlock your potential, solve problems so that you can live better.